It's really a pleasure to introduce Joe Piantedosi, who's the Executive VP of Piantedosi Baking Company and a Family Business Association finalist in the large business category.
For 2013. Joe, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Great. First of all, for our listeners who are not fortunate enough to know who's the bread behind their meal, why don't you tell us about Piantedosi?
Well, Jeff, thank you. My grandfather started our company in 1916. He came from Italy and started with a horse and wagon, basically. Didn't produce bread initially, would buy bread in the North End of Boston and take it to Everett and deliver it house to house. Ended up meeting my grandmother who lived in the North End, who became my grandmother. They got married. She was a pioneer career woman, and she convinced my grandfather to open up a bakery himself. Never knowing how to bake bread, he learned quickly, involved his three sons, one of which was my dad and my two uncles, at a very young age, and they started producing bread, and the rest is history. We've been producing bread now for coming up on 100 years. 1916 is when my grandfather started the business. And we're now third generation. Actually, we have a fourth generation family member that's working in the company right now, my cousin's son. And there's three of us that own and operate the company right now, myself and my two cousins, my two partners. And we do bread, I like to say it was a little big bakery. We're small enough to customize, but large enough to do volume.
Right.
We do numerous restaurant chains throughout the country, actually even internationally.
I'm getting hungry just talking to you. There's nothing like bread. As much as people like to say don't eat bread, I still believe in eating bread.
Bread is great. It's a staple. No
It's a
question
staple.
about it.
You can also tell a lot about the bakers, really. What kind of bread do you bake?
Well, it's specialty breads. I mean, we do all kinds of, basically now, every type of bread imaginable we do. But, we started as an Italian bakery. Sub rolls are probably still our main item. Sub rolls, French bread. We do great deli rolls of all types, burger rolls, bulky rolls, or Kaiser rolls, as you call them too. And
So do you who do you distribute to?
we distribute through. We don't really have our own routes. We distribute to independent jobbers in the local areas, and then we do frozen, internationally. So the Cisco's, the U.S. Foods of the world, et cetera, and smaller companies as well. And
So the evolution, I mean, it's a great family story. I mean, honestly, I just love the idea of talking to somebody who's been in this business for, three generations. It's really exciting on this side of the mic.
Yeah.
And so, kind of go through the evolution of how you, got from baking bread and delivering it by horse cart to, this international operation, which obviously requires a lot of people.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It was local home deliveries with horse and wagon, and a little shop. Actually, my grandfather was the delivery person. My grandmother tended the shop during the day, and bakers, and my father and uncles at a young age started in the plant. And actually,
Is it in the same place?
Oh no, because of urban renewal and because of all the, it was in the city of Everett, and now there's a highway through the original building, and that moved. So we've moved a few times, not many, but let me see. This is the main plant now is our fourth location, I guess it was. That was built in the 50s. I'm sorry, the last building, our main plant was built in the 70s. The building, I'm getting all confused here. We had a building built in the 50s that was considered the most modern and finest bakery in New England, as they called it. And then we outgrew that building, and we needed to move, so we built an actual factory in 1975 in Malden, and that's where we are today.
So your